Hey guys, remember Gareth Evans, the director of The Raid and The Raid 2? Well, guess what? He has a new action movie called Havoc that just got released on Netflix starring Tom Hardy. Who knew? Unfortunately, as the time I'm recording this, Havoc has already been buried in the Netflix algorithm and no one will watch this. But all that aside, has Gareth Evans created another memorable, action extravaganza? Or is this just another, piece of Netflix content that allows Netflix to keep the lights on? Let's discuss. So Havoc is about a corrupt cop named Walker, played by Tom Hardy, who is a detective who must fight his way through criminal underworld to rescue a politician's son after a drug deal goes wrong. Walker unravels a deep web of corruption and conspiracy that ensnares his entire city. So when it comes to a Gareth Evans action movie, I think most people want to know, how the action is. I think the story here is pretty bland and really not worth spending too much time on because I think the action here is the main course. And in terms of the action, if you're coming into Havoc expecting something like The Raid, I think you're going to be a little disappointed here. There is fun to be had with this movie when it comes to action, but I would argue that nothing in Havoc comes anything close to what we get in The Raid. There is a really cool and fun, extended fight scene that happens in a nightclub that happens about halfway through the film that I thought was pretty fun to watch. And there is a shootout that happens in the climax of the film that is, enjoyable, I suppose. But yeah, I just don't think that, anything in this movie comes anywhere close to what we get in the Raid movies. And for me, why this movie doesn't hold up to something like the Raid is because how Havoc is shot and color graded. This movie is drenched in CGI. It is absolutely drenched in it. And not only that, but this movie is the dirtiest, darkest action movie I think I've seen. Like, the color grading of this movie is so dark. This movie opens up with like an extended car chase, and I would argue, if I were to take a guess, I think I would say that like 90% of that action scene is CGI. The truck is CGI. The police cars that are chasing the truck is CGI. The roads are CGI. The oncoming traffic is CGI. And the snow falling from the sky is CGI. And on top of all of that, I think because they know it's CGI, the movie is color graded so dark that you can barely tell what is happening. And I'm not trying to be hyperbolic here, but this is one of the worst opening action scenes I've seen in a while. And to be honest, if it wasn't for Gareth Evans and Tom Hardy, I probably would have turned this movie off very quickly. And I wish I could say that the CGI, stops there, but unfortunately it does not. Even in the action scenes, there is a lot of digital trickery. There is, digital blood, there's digital shots, there's digital people. And I think that while watching an action scene, it's very clear that there is digital interference in the scene that you're watching. And for me personally, it kept taking me in and out of the movie. I was like, oh, this is cool, awesome choreography, and then all this digital stuff would be happening, and it kind of just took me out of the scene. And that happened a lot throughout this movie. But, all that being said, despite my fury for all the CGI stuff in this movie, there is still fun to be had. The nightclub fight scene is the standout scene of the movie. It is fantastic. There's a lot of cool choreography in that whole sequence. It is genuinely exciting to watch. And then the shootout in the climax is genuinely fun to watch. You just kind of have to turn your brain off when you start seeing all the digital stuff. But overall, in terms of the action, it's still fun. It's still exciting. I just don't think it's that top tier Raid stuff that we've gotten from Gareth Evans before. And as I said earlier, the story of this movie is pretty bland. You've seen this movie before. It's not doing anything different. It's pretty uninteresting. You don't really care about what's happening. You don't care about the characters. You don't really know any of the characters. So from that point of view, it was definitely a miss. Some of it was kind of hard to sit through. This movie is kind of a slow burn. That nightclub scene that I was talking about with the action, that happens about, close to an hour into the movie. And that's the first big action set piece of the movie, so it does take a while to lift off. But in terms of the story, not my favorite. And the performances are fine. Tom Hardy is doing his thing. Tom Hardy's always great. I don't think this movie is like one of his best performances, but it's serviceable. It's Tom Hardy doing his broken, brutal, grunty man thing. Don't necessarily think that's a bad thing, but that's what you're getting. All in all, I think Havoc is fine. It's a fine movie. The story is whatever. There's way too much CGI, and unfortunately, you don't really care about the characters or what's happening. But all of that aside, the action that you get here is still fun. It's still exhilarating. It's like a nuclear bomb goes off when it finally happens. And yeah, so from that point of view, I still think it's a pretty enjoyable film. But yeah, I think this movie is fine. It's not the best action movie I've ever seen, but it's far from the worst. So for me, Havoc on Netflix, directed by Gareth Evans, starring Tom Hardy, is a 6 out of 10. So yeah, did you guys see Havoc? Did you watch it? Let me know in the comments below your thoughts about the movie. Did you like it? Did you not like it? I would love to know your thoughts. And until the next time, I will see you on the next one.